Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our second Digital Live. My name is Nora, and I'm one of the field managers here at the Digital Summer Clinic. And I'm also with Lily, another field manager. And today we're really excited to be talking with Sufian Qrunfleh, Kim Barker, and Alankrita Pandey.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, Sufian, Kim, and Alankrita. And thank you for everybody tuning in. We're really looking forward to these conversations. We have some great people on. And for those of you guys watching, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and we will get to them during our Q&A session. So let's look forward to that. So to start things off, could each of our guests please introduce yourselves and then tell us a little bit about your experience as a mentor?
So can I just say, someday I'm going to come in and I'm going to be dancing when that music comes on, because I just really like that intro music. So
it's cute, yeah. Kim, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Kim Barker, and this is my third year mentoring, and I've taught at EMU in the management department. I can't believe it's been 10 years already. And I guess I just really love, I love teaching, and I love teaching or mentoring in the Digital Summer Clinic. And I also learn so much. So it's kind of like a give and take. And that's one thing I really love about it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Sufian, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Sufian Qrunfleh. I go by the name of Dr. Q, professor at the College Business, Eastern Michigan University Marketing Department. I teach supply chain and operations management. I'm also the department head for marketing. I did graduate from Toledo actually in 2009. And I've been mentor since, I can't believe that I'm saying this, 2018. So it's been almost 7 years, I think, if I'm doing my math correctly. Part of the mentoring team. Excited to be here. Thank you for the invite, and we're looking forward for this.
Yeah, thank you. Alankrita, how about you?
Well, hi, my name is Alankrita Pandey. I'm a professor in the Department of Management, and I'm a newbie mentor. I just joined this year, and I have been teaching at Eastern. I joined around the same time as Dr. Q did.
Right, I remember that.
I was in the Department of Management, and I've been teaching HR and OB, and I really like working with students and talking to them. And that is why this experience has been amazingly fun for me.
Yeah, it's really great to have all of our mentors here. We have a few questions for you just to help us and everyone else watching to get to know you better. So the first one I have is, what's one piece of advice that you always share with interns, and why does it stick with you?
Well, I would say to have a journal. And the reason is, if you write down your goals, you are 40% more likely to accomplish them. And I just think that is so cool. You know, I know you can do it on your phone or on your computer, but there's nothing like putting pen to paper in a journal. And it was my very first PhD class, and they gave us this advice. And I was like, is this what I'm here paying good money for? And but I said, okay, we're not going to judge. And I started doing it right then. And I have, I don't know, probably 10 journals. So, and now my husband has something to put me away with because I have so many crazy ideas in there. So
no, that's good advice. That's good advice.
So my advice always is, always ask that question. You know, sometimes you're listening to people and there's this thing that comes up into your head and you wonder, should I ask this question? Yes, always ask that question. First of all, you need an answer. People are there to give you that answer. The second reason is, there is always somebody or a lot of other people who are also having the same doubt as you. So if you ask that question, you're actually helping a lot of people. And sometimes the answer to that question can make or break your experience in something. I was given this advice years ago when I was trying to, at different stages in your life, you always try to figure out things for yourself because I don't want to seem non-smart.
Right.
And my advisor, my PhD advisor, gave me this advice. PhD advisor, great people giving advice. He said, just ask it because it helps a lot. It helps clarify what you're asking, it helps put it down, and it makes you more confident in the process. So always ask that question. There is no such thing as a stupid question, honestly.
Absolutely.
That's a great advice you guys are giving. Okay, so for me, I'm gonna build on what the last thing you mentioned, which is believing in yourself. I keep mentioning this: self-confidence. Believe you can do it. A lot of students when they first apply, first of all, they're hesitant to apply. It's like, this is for me? I'm not sure I can do this. Startup business and all of that stuff. But hey, believe in yourself. Apply and believe in doing and accomplishing your goals. I know sometimes startup business can be tough. Maybe I lacked confidence years ago when I was, at school and high school and maybe in college. But, if you believe in yourself and you see how you grow throughout this internship, I think that it will make a huge difference in your career. We believe in you as a student. You believe you can achieve this journey. And so you need to believe in yourself. And I think it will be a win-win situation for both of us and for the company as well. So self-confidence, I would say.
Dr. Q, can
Yes.
I say something?
Absolutely.
So you reminded me of a story that you told many years ago when you were speaking. And that was you had a guest speaker come to your class,
Right.
and there was a person in your class taking notes.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
And afterwards, the guest speaker contacted you and wanted the name of that individual because they were taking notes, they were asking questions, they seemed very present and very engaged.
Absolutely.
And I think they got a job out of the deal, right?
You are absolutely correct. He came to present, and he was just watching how students react, and the guy was wearing a suit and writing almost everything they're talking about. And then at the end he asked the name of the students, and I believe they went for an interview, and I think he got the job.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely.
So it sounds like he was taking all three of you guys' advice about writing things down, being confident, and asking questions.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys are giving great answers here because it ended up in a job offer for one of these guys. So if you guys are watching, you better take this advice.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So on to the next question. One of the questions is, when and how did you first become a mentor for the Digital Summer Clinic, and what has been your favorite experience so far?
Well, I didn't know what I didn't know in the beginning, which is usually how it is, right? But I love the networking. It's an amazing cross section of human beings, both mentors, both executives and residents, both interns, and the director, right? And it's just I learned so much. And I'd like to think they learn from me too. It's a real reciprocal relationship, and as with anything, you listen, right? You learn, you ask questions, and then you dive in.
Yeah, awesome.
So for me, I've worked in the College of Business for so many years. So I have known Bud for many years, served with him on committees. And then recently I've been involved in the professional development certificate with Kim Barker. And she has always been talking a lot about the Digital Summer Clinic. And so we got talking, so that's how I got drawn into it. And for me, again, personally, it's one of those things that the more you know, the more you learn, the longer you stay with this. It's been a great experience because I have been involved since the beginning of this year. And among other things, I've had a chance to interact with students as they have been applying and through the interview process. So that has been amazing for me. As a researcher, I've always been interested in what makes people work. And so now I find myself looking at people as my students. I've always interacted a lot with my students. So it about what they are actually going through, what are the kinds of things that they look at, what are the things that they are looking at when they enter into the workforce. So it kind of also reminds me of what I used to be like so many years ago. So it has been extremely positive.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess I'm the senior over here. I do remember in 2018, Bud invited me for lunch. I with him and Dr. Jamie Ward, which she was a previous mentor, I think in public relation communication department. And he explained to me, I knew about the clinic, but I didn't know the details about it. So he said, why don't you try it for one time, see if you like it or not, and he explained the process and what we do. And I said, you know what, this sounds interesting, but I never thought 7 years later I will still be here. So I tried it the first time. It was an amazing experience. I keep telling him it's one of the my highlights at EMU is that being part of this clinic, and I mean it when I say that. And it's been every year. It's been even more exciting than the previous one. More challenges, and new students, and diverse students, and things like that. So it's great. And one of the questions you had, I think, was the second part of the question was an advice that I gave a student or something that I do remember last year, and I don't want to take credit for this because it's all the student, by the way. She was doing a great job with the company. So I part of the mentoring team is that we give advice to students, and one of the advice I gave her is like, have you talked to the company about continue working with them after the clinic? I mean, again, we only guarantee 9-week paid internship, but after that, it's between you and the company. If they think there is a fit or need, absolutely they could do that, and it happens almost every year that they continue working, outside the clinic between them and the company. So she said, you know what, I'll ask them, and she did. And once the clinic is over, they offered her, and you guys know the amount. I mean, it's a 5-figure number. By the way, this is not the typical salary that you will earn after an internship, but it happened. And she thanked me so much that because of your advice. And again, I'm not trying to get the credit over here, but I mean, that's one of the advice that I felt like the student was doing a great job. It was a lot of work, and you feel like there's more to do. And so that advice helped her get a contract or a year job. I think it could be a year, it could be longer, I'm not sure, with a great salary. And so I mean, that by itself is rewarding to me as being part of the mentoring team, because I mean, this is what we look for, a success for students, for the company, for the community, and of course for Eastern Michigan University. So
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I would
I'll just sit
also.
over here.
Oh, sorry.
I'll jump in over here and just say, Dr. Q, that one of the things that what you just said about it being rewarding, I think that I'm beginning to experience that a lot myself. As this is the reason why we joined this profession, and then we learn so much more from being part of this whole experience. That makes it all the more nicer. Sorry for butting in like that, Nora.
No, you're all good. I was just gonna say, like, working closely with you guys, especially through the interviews, I know I've seen a lot of themes of you guys saying, like, it's really rewarding to see a student go from wanting to gain some professional experience to actually getting that professional experience and maybe even going farther and moving along with the startup. So it's definitely like a reciprocal thing. Like, you're growing with them, and it's really rewarding on both ends.
right, absolutely.
The other question we had is, how has being a mentor at the Digital Summer Clinic shaped your own professional or personal growth?
Well, it really warms my heart when I see students apply, what they've learned. And, sometimes they get to their conclusion just by us asking questions, right, where they want to go. But sometimes, we make those recommendations too. But just seeing the students grow, from week one or maybe from the interview to the end, and see their resume grow, see their interview skills sharpened. It just is very, very heartwarming. And Alankrita, after last Thursday, if I could share, she made a comment. She said, "This is why I got into teaching." Right. And I was like, yes, I mean, you're so excited when students actually listen, not that some don't, occasionally they don't, right. And actually do, what you say. The other thing is, and I think this needs to be a goal of mine, is we have, I call them Bud-isms. And, there are all these little sayings that, Bud comes up with, and when he's teaching, and I just think they're so incredible. So today I was coming up against some walls, and I was like, oh, this is stressful. And then I thought, okay, what's the one thing I can do to move this ball forward, right? And so that's a Buddhism.
Right.
And I just it just popped in my head, and I figured something that would, and it did. It moved it along. So I think that I think I need to start recording these so that we can publish them somehow.
So, in terms of personal growth, again, I'll go back to what Kim said. And actually, I was sitting at last Thursday's meeting, and one of the things that Bud said, again, like we're coming back to that advice, right? The part about writing, about having a blog, that was a huge deal. You don't have to do it in a formal process at all times in all walks of life. If you are in the clinic, yes, please follow along and do it that way. But in other ways also, make sure that you're recording what you're doing for yourself professionally, because no one else will. It will be a good record, and it will be something for you to fall back upon. I think that's amazing advice.
Definitely.
And for me, really, it made me a better person, a better mentor. Again, you guys mentioned we're here to help students out, and I think they need an opportunity, especially for students at Eastern. We need to provide them with those opportunities. So being a mentor for so many years kind of maybe helped me out being a better mentor, a better coach. Every year brings in new problems. New group of students, and each one has his or her own problem, and then it made me a better coach. It made me a better person. I'm still learning. We all learn. We still that. I mean, those personal skills and all of that stuff. But one thing that I like is that under Bud's LinkedIn, it says connect students with their future. Connect students with their futures. I think we provide an outstanding opportunity for students to have a better future. Let me put it that way. And so we work together as a team, and it makes us better coaching, better mentors, and a win-win situation, as I always mention.
And the other thing I like, if I could just add this, is that it's a really unique cross-section. Right. I mean, we have students from all over Michigan and some other schools as well, right, outside of Michigan, for students that are in Michigan over the summer. And I just think, there's not, this is a real unique experience to really network with people that, are outside of your school.
Right. Oh, yeah. You got U of M, you got Michigan State, you got Wayne.
Yeah.
What else? So you got community colleges, all of them.
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah.
And the range of skills everybody brings. Like you may be paired with somebody who's from a completely different area when you're with your team, or even with the startup. This is not a structured syllabus that you're going into, and I think that's extremely valuable. And that whole failing fast thing is extremely important also. It doesn't seem like that when you're doing it probably for the first time as a newbie, but over time you learn the experience of learning from the things that you make mistakes at. And it's enormous.
Yeah. And I want to add one more thing, actually. And it didn't only just make me a better mentor. It just actually kept me updated with what the current market is doing. I mean, those startup entrepreneurs have, great ideas, and you look at them and it's like, wow, this is great. This is what's happening in the market. So not only it makes me a better mentor, but it also keep me up with what's going on in the market and, with our, Southeast Michigan community as well. So it's great opportunity.
Yeah, and I had like a quick comment about something that was mentioned previously, but like going to a lot of those job fairs at the different schools, what I kind of like marketed to the students is that like this program is more than an internship. It's really a stepping stone into your professional career. Like we have the mentors here to help you, and I know we have a couple of events this summer that are going to work on networking, LinkedIn, and your resume, which are really helpful. And I don't think a lot of other internships are doing that.
Yeah, I'll say that's what really drew me into applying to the Digital Summer Clinic as an intern initially, was just the opportunity that I could see was radiating out of the opportunity that was the Digital Summer Clinic. So that's what really drew it to me. So yeah, I agree with you, Nora.
I remember years ago when I was an intern, like, we did my MBA, got into an internship. There wasn't that personal learning component, which I do think is amazing the way it has been built into the digital summer clinic. That there is the part that you learn how to leverage what you have learned, what you're working on, and constantly keep so that you have these little vignettes to hand out. And it overall, whatever happens, there might be that offer, there might not be that offer, but you still leave with those lines on your CV. That's invaluable.
Yep. CV or resume. Yep, absolutely.
So we are at the Q&A portion of our live, and I'm not seeing any questions posted. Bud has been commenting on a couple of things that we've been saying throughout the live. But I guess that's the rest of the live.
Are they shareable?
I can put them up.
No, I'm just kidding.
I actually have a question that I thought of, if you will.
Sure.
So Dr. Q did mention a specific experience that he holds on to where he offered some mentorship and it turned into a really great opportunity for one of the kids in the clinic, or I should say in his class, but and Dr. Q, if you'd like to add in another one that you have, feel free, but particularly for Kim and Alankrita, is there any particular experience, whether through the mentorship of the Digital Summer Clinic or in your teaching experience, that really speaks to you, similar to that situation, that really propelled the student forward, that you'd like to share?
And by the way, it was in the clinic. It was last year.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite TED Talks is How to Avoid Death by PowerPoint. And, I had mentioned that this was, I don't know, probably 2 years ago. And I had mentioned it in one of the first meetings. And the next week, most of the students, you could tell that they had watched the video based on their PowerPoints, and it just, when you see them take that knowledge and put it into action, nothing makes you feel better. So
I bet.
I think for me, one of the experiences I had was working with a student on a research project. This was a couple of years ago. We were working on a research project for class, which then turned out to be so good that then I worked with the student on a research project that we took to a conference. And it was amazing, the insights that she got out of it. Was just the class. Initially, she came up to me and she was like, I don't know where to collect the data from. I don't know what we are going to do. I said, all right, let's look at this. Let's break it down. Do you think you can work on this? This was something I was working on. So I handed it out to her and she took it, made it into something really nice. We took it to a conference and it was really well received there. So it's just little things. Opportunities are out there. Again, you have to ask, and you have to ask that question. It seems like a silly question, but it was helpful.
Lily, I have so many stories I could share. I mean, but I don't want to take, or we don't want to take the credit. Is the student, But
right.
we like for last year, I invited a student for a trip in Cleveland for a sports marketing trip. All right. And it's like not sure to go, and they're not sure if should I ask for if they want to continue working these type of things, like they're not sure, right? But go network.
Yeah.
We give them an opportunity, and they need to make the best out of it. So she went over there, got a job after she met the whatever in the Cleveland, and she's on the website. You can check the website. She's under the code for the alumni code, and she got a job from that trip. I don't take credit for that, but we provide opportunities for students, and and we connect students. I could mention connecting them with the future, connect them with an opportunities, and with the network, and even recommending one student to this job, and then they got it. But it's the student, right? It's their skill set, their hard work, and so. But we just do the pushing stuff, right?
Give them the tools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And show them the door.
Yes. That's it. Yes.
Well, and sometimes you find what you love, right? The student finds what they love, or sometimes they find, oh, I don't want to do that, right?
Right.
But then
And
right?
And that's helpful. I think that kind of experience at any price is it's always cheap.
Yeah,
definitely.
I would say too, like from a student's perspective, like really taking that initiative and going to conferences. Like I have never regretted going to a conference. I always like take away so many good points, and also building that network is really important, and kind of leveraging the speakers or the attendees' knowledge and like taking their suggestions or tips is super helpful.
I agree.
I agree. And it's not easy putting yourself out there when you do. But once you do it, you never regret it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Like it may be a little awkward. Okay, probably turned out to be a little odd. But then, the conversation was worth it.
And your LinkedIn becomes like your Rolodex. You guys remember what a Rolodex is? Maybe your grandparents had one with little cards that you flip through. And, that's kind of what your LinkedIn becomes. It's your digital Rolodex, and that's kind of cool. But you have to connect with them in order for that to happen.
All right. Before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined our live today.
Yeah, and thank you so much to you guys, Dr. Q, Kim, and Alankrita. We really appreciate having you on. It was really great. And for everybody else out there, be sure to stay up to date with our upcoming digital lives this summer. Our next live will be on June 23rd at 5:30 p.m. So until then, we will see you.